Our speaker tonight is the founder and CEO of the Mindset Evolution. As a mindset and empowerment coach, she guides individuals to their truest and most authentic selves through her transformative, evidence-based holistic coaching programs. Using her Reunite framework, she supports her clients to break free from the inner critic and external voices, allowing them to reunite with their own inner voice and calling to create a more aligned path and legacy that allows them to experience more ease, purpose, passion, and joy. With over 15 years of experience in social welfare and psychological research methods, a bachelor's degree in psychology, her insights into human psychology and mental health are unparalleled. Tonight, she will shed light on how we embrace some of the curveballs we are faced with in life, because no matter how hard we try to dodge them, sometimes they just keep on coming. At times when we feel powerless, we have more power than we think. Presenting the power of perspective, the art of living in a beautiful state, join me in welcoming Chahal. Chahal.
Uncertainty. Almost as comfortable as a blindfolded tightrope walk. However, today we're about to embark on a voyage to explore how some of life's twists and turns in its most unpredictable moments can lead to a life filled with more purpose, more passion, and more joy. So a show of hands if you're ready to board this ship and go on this journey with me. Fantastic. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready for the ride. Each wave we are faced with in life is really determined by the intensity of the tide. And as Franklin Roosevelt so profoundly put it, life is not a smooth sea. The skilled sailors make it through life. Amidst the myriad of challenges that we encounter in life and the uncharted waters, we can sometimes be left feeling confused, isolated, and overwhelmed. However, one fundamental element that reigns supreme is perspective. This is often overlooked and overshadowed by the everyday noise of life. And sometimes we can find ourselves desperately clutching onto a wave, waiting for the tide to pass. And not only does this impact our state of being, but it also impacts our quality of life. And most importantly, it robs us of our greatest gift of all, time. Even throughout life's hardships and adversity, through a profound shift in perspective and through making a conscious choice to embrace the beauty in every single moment, no matter how daunting or bleak it may seem, we can unlock a state that transcends far beyond the ordinary. A state that I like to call a beautiful state. So today, I invite you to awaken to the power of perspective, its transformative potential, and more importantly, its capacity to shape our reality. There have been many ebbs and flows in my life that have had immense power to shape my reality in a multitude of different ways. But I've always clung on to the belief that I can harness that power of perspective at any time to write my own story and create a life filled with more meaning, more passion, and more joy. I've then gone on to do The same for others by supporting them on their journey, revealing the true transformative power of perspective, and not only the power that it has on our lives, but also on the lives of others. In 1995, a groundbreaking study was conducted by the Centers for Disease Control and Kaiser Permanente in California, named the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study. In short, it is also referred to as the ACEs study. This study aimed to investigate adverse childhood experiences and their relationship with later in life health outcomes and overall well-being. They did that by identifying 10 different categories of adverse experiences, which included any type of abuse, domestic violence, household dysfunction, incarceration, substance use, mental illness, and parental divorce or separation. And what they found is that there was a cumulative impact between those adverse experiences and the later in life health outcomes and overall well-being, with those that had been exposed to more than one adverse experience being at an increased risk. Now, this study really hits home for me and demonstrates the power of perspective when you consider two people raised in the exact same environment. Despite being at the end of those adverse childhood experiences and having witnessed or experienced almost every single one of those in the study, me and my brother have led two entirely different paths in life. I went from believing that I was a byproduct of trauma to believing that I was born for a reason, because there are so many others in the world that don't make it this far. This shaped a massive perspective for me in which I had this relentless drive to not let the past define or shape my reality. Whereas my brother, on the other hand, spent a lot of time questioning, why me? And as he did this, he actually faced a lot of the negative outcomes later in life, everything from substance use, mental illness, and chronic disease. I realized that I could turn some of that pain into my purpose. And when I did this, I stopped looking at what was going wrong to really look at what could be done right despite everything that was going on. And at first, I found myself just mirroring some of the emotions that my mother and brother were having because they were in unbearable levels of pain, and I just felt helpless. But once I decided that I was going to find my purpose in all of that pain, I decided to support others on their journey through life. And the way that I did that was by helping them to honor not everything that they had gone through, but everything that they had got through. I helped them to embrace their unique intricacies and their resiliency, to unlock and unleash their own gifts into the world. And as I did this, I made sure that they felt seen, they felt heard, valued, appreciated, and above all, I told them that their light was much needed in this world. And at times when I found that individuals were trying to make sense of the past, like my brother, at the cost of the present moment, I instilled in them the belief that they could course correct at any time if they envisioned a different reality or a different future for themselves, one filled with more peace, joy, gratitude, and abundance. Someone once asked me, if you could turn back time to any day in your life, would you? That was another profound question, one that I'd like to pose to all of you. So if you could turn back time to any day in your life, show of hands if you would turn back time. I only see a few hands up. So as I reflected on this question, I decided that I wouldn't. And that's simply because I believe that all that I have gone through and got through has shaped me into who I am today and led me to exactly where I'm meant to be. Another massive shift came in my life when I realized that everything that was happening in life, there was a gift or a blessing in the moment. And once I opened myself up to this, it helped me understand that I had taken every single path that I had taken in life for a reason, and that I was born for reasons far bigger than myself. And when I realized that, that was like a lightning bolt to my soul, and I woke up to my true reality, which is that I never wanted anybody to experience levels of pain and overwhelm in a place where they felt isolated and alone. And that's when I embarked on a journey to really support others, being reminded that life wasn't happening to me, but life was happening for me. And it was up to me to do something with that. So as I started on that journey at the age of 16, I went to volunteer at a shelter for women experiencing domestic violence because my mother had been a victim. I then went on to support individuals that had been given a mental health diagnosis because my brother had faced similar struggles. After that, I began this relentless mission to become a social worker, which led me to work in the fields of suicide prevention and hospice. And along the way, I had a lot of people that told me that all of the odds were stacked against me. And I knew at that moment that I had two choices to make. I could either accept that as my truth, or I could simply defy the odds. And I stand here in front of you today as somebody that well and truly defied the odds. Despite everything that was going on in our lives, I tried to make meaning of what was happening and strived to get those good grades and use my talents and strengths in a way that was going to help me to support others and make a difference in the world. My brother had his talents and strengths and was tapping into his creative genius in a number of different ways. And in all honesty, the shenanigans just never ended, and he forever kept us on our toes. So if he wasn't forging signatures to get out of school and go on a tour of the city, we were coming home to another incident where he was in trouble with the local law enforcement. And I share this because recently my brother shared a massive shift in his perspective. On a day where I was hoping that he would wish me a happy birthday, he forgot to do that. But as I reminded him gently how much I loved him and how much I had been thinking of him during my birthday celebration, he said to me, "Often I forget my own birthday. I'm just grateful that I was born." And that's when I knew it might have taken 35 plus years, but he's finally on a journey where he is tapping into that precious gift of existence. I went on to get a bachelor's degree and 2 master's degrees and moved to the US. And now I get to serve individuals in a deep and meaningful and powerful way because of everything that I got to go through. Now, I'm not the only one that has defied the odds. You might have heard of Malala Yousafzai. Can I get a show of hands if you've heard of Malala? Okay, wonderful. Malala became an advocate for girls' education during the oppressive Taliban regime. She gained international attention when she survived an assassination attack due to her public advocacy. That didn't stop her though, because despite being shot in the head and thankfully surviving that assassination attack on her, she went on to speak at the United Nations. She founded the Malala Fund, and she didn't stop there. She became the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, we could say that the odds were stacked against Malala, but she has gone on to inspire and empower women and girls around the globe, becoming a symbol of hope despite the adversity and the hardships. So how many of you would agree that Malala, well and truly, defied the odds? Can I get a show of hands? Fantastic. I see a few of you with your hands up. So throughout these transformative shifts in my perspective, I developed this profound sense of gratitude for the precious gift of existence itself. And what I'd like to invite you to do now is to think back to a time when you were faced with some type of adversity or hardship. You may have seen it as a roadblock to begin with, but were you able to find a gift or a blessing or a teaching moment of some kind that allowed you to grow in some way? As you ponder on that, I want you to think about if we spent a little more time in this place of possibility and love, we could move away from a space of fear and limitation. I'd also like you to take a moment to think about when you've been able to really sit and hear another person's perspective. See them for who they are and what they stand for. See them for their truth. Embrace the journey that they've been on in their life, navigating the waves that they've been navigating. Think about that for just a moment. When we get to do that, we are able to support others in a deep, meaningful, and powerful way, which reveals that the power of perspective doesn't only allow for transformation in our own lives, but it has a ripple effect when we can go on to infuse loving kindness and compassion into the lives of others and contribute in some way. So I implore you, my dear friends, to unlock the possibilities that are dormant within your soul by embracing that power of perspective. Remember that you always hold the key. And not only will it allow you to transform your life, but maybe transform the lives of others and add more passion, purpose, and unbridled joy into your lives. I'd like to leave you now with 3 techniques for utilizing the power of perspective. The first one is to commit to having an insatiable curiosity for all things in life and having an open mind and an open heart. That'll allow you to see the opportunities for growth and learning. The second one is to infuse compassion and empathy into your interactions with others, because it allows us to foster deep connections with one another, to build stronger communities and a more harmonious world. And the third one, cultivate gratitude for the present moment. And look for the blessings and the gifts, no matter how big or small they may seem. I promise you, they are there. And when you can embrace those, life becomes a little more happier and we feel more fulfilled. That brings us to the end of our time together and the end of our voyage. And as you go on to navigate the many different waves of life, remember that quote by Franklin Roosevelt: "A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor." I hope you've enjoyed the ride, and I look forward to joining you again. Thank you.